Good afternoon, everyone. It's David Griffin of Meathead Charcoal. I'm back with another episode of our Meat Platter series, and I'm up here today in Lula, Georgia, in Hall County, Georgia, with the general manager of Jaemor Farms, Mr. Drew Echols.
Hey, David, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Drew. It's good to see you.
Good to be here.
I appreciate you taking the time to be with us. So tell us a little bit about Jaemor.
Well, we're actually, I'm having to change it up now. I've been for so long saying we're a fifth generation farm. We're a sixth generation farm now. Both of my kids are working full time on the farm. I'm the fifth generation, and Chloe and Cohen are out here pretty much daily when they're not in school. We, my uncle Judah, he manages the market. My dad helps with the farm, and he kind of does a lot of our construction projects and stuff. So we're the owners. We bought my granddad out about 12 or 13 years ago, and I don't know, we got a lot of irons in the fire. so where you want to start?
Well, I know Jaemor is a big local attraction for everybody in this area and really from all over the state. And just tell me, before we get a lot into that, just sort of your background and how you just made the decision to be in the family business.
Well, I tell people all the time I quit working full time to go to kindergarten. Started kindergarten, went to school for 12 years, and then I come back to the farm. I took a little stint in college, and I quit college, come back to the farm. Well, I actually quit college and went to work at Georgia Power, and I wanted to be back on the farm, and my granddaddy wanted me to be on the farm. We were primarily, at that point, just had the market, and we grew about 40 acres of peaches. And my granddad, a lot of people thought he was a visionary. He could see more here, but he just couldn't get more done. You know, I mean, you get bogged down into your day to day, and he wanted to expand the business and asked me to come back to the farm full time and do some of these things. He really wanted to diversify the crops. He wasn't all that crazy about putting in a corn maze, but he wanted to diversify the crops, and we did that. We started growing pumpkins and vegetables and strawberries and blackberries and all those things. And then after we got, I wouldn't say mastered those things, but after we got a little bit better at growing those things, that's when we started offering the corn maze and all the fall activities. And now, most recently, we've branched out into these U-pick experiences for people here on the farm. So we've come a long way since that market was built in 1981 to where you just come up here and simply shopped. Now it's not just about the shopping experience. We talk about the on-farm experience a lot. People come in and see a tractor going by right now with people on it who have been out in the orchard picking peaches during the fall. Like I said earlier, it's that corn maze. So it's opened up a new avenue to our business.
So, you referenced sort of making a transition from just being just an ag place, maybe with a little store, and then you've sort of turned it into sort of a agritourism, more of a destination location. So was that all by design, or did you just sort of happen into that, or did y'all know that you needed to be more than just a farm to move forward?
Well, back in the early 2000s, that one of the buzzwords within our industry was diversification, and it really is hard to make it year after year in production agriculture. So we were producing peaches and mainly just peaches, and again, we had that retail market, but we were just that was just two parts of it. So we knew that we needed to branch out and this agritourism stuff, it was taking off all over the country. Some were popping up in the state of Georgia. A lot of them, a lot of markets like this and corn mazes and things up north and then on the west coast, but not a whole lot in the southeast. So we knew we had a location. We knew we had a great retail business and how to grow fruits and vegetables. We just didn't have that on farm component. And now it very much has become a tourist destination. Last weekend, there were families. I was spent some time out in the blackberries, letting people pick their own blackberries, and there were families from New York, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Alabama, and France,
Wow.
all either staying at campsites on Lake Lanier or had houses rented on Lake Lanier. So um, it's kind of neat to be out there and be able to have those conversations with people that are here vacationing. And I know we take it for granted. We take that beautiful lake and all these hills and everything for granted, but people really do want to be here. Um, then a vast majority of the cars in our parking lot, you can walk through just about any time. You see so few Hall County tags. It's Fulton, DeKalb, Cobb, Gwinnett, those Atlanta folks coming up here for a day trip to spend time here on the farm. So it really has. I mean, it's a tourist destination now that's got a farm along with it.
What were some of those early obstacles when y'all decided to sort of make that change and go a little bit more that focused to create more of a destination? Is there anything you remember that was something unexpected?
Well, it's hard to turn around a ship, and it's still hard. You know, not that many regulatory burdens or issues with counties or cities or anything like that. It's just I think it was our mindset. We still want to grow excellent peaches, but we also want those customers who come here to go through the corn maze or pick a pumpkin or whatever to have a great time. And it's hard to do both. And it takes a lot of management, and sometimes inevitably something slips through the cracks. You forget something, either in the production side, the retail side, or the agritourism side. And I feel like over the past couple of years, we've really built a team that, and still build a team that, with a relatively large family business, that you're trying to make it larger. Probably the hardest thing is to keep people in their designated lane or designated area. And but I think we're grasping that and doing a good job. Doing a good job with that, and I think it makes the overall experience inside the driveway better.
Was there a moment in time that you remember, like you're talking about walking through the parking lot or something, and something where you realized, this has really clicked? Was there some memory that stands out that you're like, okay, this is really going to work?
Well, I think those Saturdays in October, I had fought so Saturdays in October are just crazy, the biggest days of the year, and there's some 1,100 parking places here, um, and 8 to 10,000 people inside the driveway on those days. And you kind of know at that point, you're like, well, we're doing a pretty good job, but we're still not offering you pick strawberries, and we're still not offering you pick peaches or vegetables or whatever. And that's when you kind of know that you've built this up big enough. Hopefully those people are having a good time on your farm in October, and you can get them back in April or May to pick those strawberries, and then again in June and July to pick the peaches. So it was very much staged, different at different times. My advice, I've talked to a lot of people within the industry who are getting started, and they want to come up here and they want to go on a tour, and they want to do it all. And they want to do it all at one time. It's hard to do it all at one time. I mean, as you know, with any small business, you got to wear a lot of hats. You're the janitor, you're the mechanic, sometimes you're running a register or whatever. And so you have to wear so many different hats. I think in our case, it's been better for us, no pun intended, but to grow into where we are right now.
Right. So you said you're sixth generation farm in operation. So at this point, about how many family members are still involved?
I think there's about 10 of us that are still very much involved. Couple of my siblings, Ian, he works in produce down here at the market. Daphne runs the eatery, which is one of the newer additions to what we have brought on here. We had that store down at Commerce, and they did a really good job down there. They were killing it, and you hate to close a business that's making money. But one of the biggest questions inside of the driveway was, where is there to eat here? Where is there to eat? Where is there to eat? And we had a deli down at the store at Commerce, and Daphne and her team were just killing it. They were doing very well. And we decided to make a business decision to close that, move forward with enhancing the driveway up here and giving these folks somewhere to eat and enjoy a good sandwich or a carnival type meal during the fall. So Daphne came on. She's doing a phenomenal job down there. Jesse came back to the farm back in September, and Jesse, I don't know exactly what her title is. She just runs things. Jesse's a hard worker and she gets things done. She came back primarily to run this agritourism adventure for us. I feel like that the last piece was that agritourism, and we were spending so much time on production agriculture or retail and even that eatery that the agritourism was kind of it was a side note, so to speak, and we weren't giving it as much effort as we should. So we brought on Jesse to come in here and run it like a business instead of just part of the bigger business. And it's already paying big dividends. So, finding those people to plug in to certain spots, I think that's key.
Well, how do you? I've got some experience working with family myself, and it can be challenging, but also very rewarding. But what would you say is the best way y'all handle, staying on good terms with each other and turning work off when you're not here and still enjoying Thanksgiving and things like that?
Well, I tell everybody, I'm like, look, it's a blessing and a curse all wrapped into one. I mean, who doesn't want to work with their dad or their siblings or their kid? In my case, with Chloe and Cohen being here, I think it's important. You always know that those folks have your back, right? That you trust other employees, but you really trust your family, right? So there's that. But then it's demanding, but I do think it's important that reiterating that fact of stay in your lane, do your job the very best, and that's one of the things that Jesse's been driving home to us. She come from a corporate background, and those type things matter. I mean, we needed a little. Not only did we need her in the agritourism realm, but we needed a little bit of structure here at Jaemor also. And I'm not saying we're perfect right now, but we're getting better. And with family, it's easy to wear your feelings on your sleeve, right? You think somebody's being critical of how you do things, and they're not really being critical. They only say something because they care, because they want the overall business to do better. So, that's some of the things that even I've been doing this 25 years, and I'm learning that every day and trying to do better at it.
So, in saying that you've been doing this 25 years, is there something that you wish you could have told 25-year younger Drew about this? Is there something about this business that would be great if somebody told you ahead of time?
I would have definitely gotten into this UPIC stuff before. Basically, we've just been consistent with that for about 3 years, and I would have done it way before then. The demand was there. It was very much pent up demand. It was the number one question was where is there to eat up at Jaemor, and the number two question was, can we go pick our own fruit? And it was falling on deaf ears because I just didn't want to get out there, turn people loose in a peach orchard or a strawberry field or whatever. It's not like the corn maze, so to speak, where it's a defined area, that kind of thing. This is a working farm. So, we built fences everywhere. We bought more equipment. We bought more trailers to be able to haul people and those type things. So I really wish I would have started that earlier. I kind of kicked myself pretty hard on myself for not doing that earlier.
So it definitely seems to me like the features you have here and the attractions is what stands out, differentiates yourself amongst attractions in the state. But what do you think y'all are continuing to do to to stand out and be the reason people want to come out here?
Well, going and speaking at events and different places for agriculture or a tourism summit or just anything. I tell people a lot that there's a lot of really good ag businesses and agritourism businesses around the state of Georgia. A lot of good ones. I encourage people to go visit them all the time. There's very few farms that do have a retail component, the production ag component. We have a wholesale component. We sell a lot of peaches and strawberries and pumpkins on an open market to brokers. So we ship out a lot of that stuff. We have an agritourism component, the restaurant type eatery component. We have all that right here in one driveway. So it does make it very unique, and it makes me proud to be one of the owners and that it is a family run operation.
So, what are some of your long term goals? I mean, what are you? Where do you want to go from here?
Well, one of the biggest things, Chloe's graduating college next year, and people say this all the time, but I don't think it's more true than in a family owned business, and especially a farm. That, hey, I want my daughter, if I'm able, I want this place to be sustainable enough to where she can make a living here. If that's what she wants to do, I want her to be able to make a living here. And I also want to leave it somewhat. I'm not telling you that when she graduates college, I'm going to hand her the keys and say, don't wreck it. But I am saying that I want to leave it better for her than when it was phenomenal. I mean, I couldn't ask for better when my granddad as an owner and my dad and uncle as managers than when I got here. But I do want to leave it a little bit better, and I want to leave her with a lot of her and Cohen, and I've got nieces and nephews. I want to leave them with more opportunity.
Well, it's certainly, it's a business that you jumped on. It was a multi generation, but it's still every day you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, and a lot of people think they want to be entrepreneurs out there, but it's not easy. It doesn't turn off. It's all day, every day. What's your advice to someone who thinks they want to, become an entrepreneur, run their own business?
I think you got to be willing. The first thing, you got to be willing to do anything, whatever it takes, whatever hours that it takes. These hours here are not the sexiest hours in the world. Our money is made on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when everybody else is not working. It's just the way this business is set up. You got to be willing to work when nobody else is. And then also, and so I've talked to a lot of young people who wanted to start their own business, and when you tell them that, they're like, maybe that Monday through Friday's way more attractive. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you better be ready to work at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning or 8 p.m. on Sunday night. I mean, you know that, right?
That's right.
So there's that. And then I am I've been thinking a lot here over the past couple of weeks with dealing with employees and dealing with this whole team thing. You don't want to operate like, hey, I'm in charge, I'm the big guy, I'm the top guy, the buck stops here. But you do have to be willing to take the bullets. Like you can't, you got to own the mistakes for morale, for the sake of your employees, for everything. Like, you got to be able to own it. You can't pin blame on your employees down the line. You can't pin blame on the bank or the insurance company or whoever it is. Like, you're the guy. You got to own it. So, and figure out how to either navigate through it or navigate over it.
Right.
That's just always been my philosophy. I've been thinking a lot about that the past few weeks.
Well, what about the agriculture industry in general? I know you and your wife Shelley are both very involved in the local community. I know you've been a big advocate for the agricultural industry just across Georgia. A lot of times, young kids think they want to be in that industry, but it can be hard if you're not a multi-generation owner or family member or something like that. What's your best advice for somebody that wants to get into ag these days as a young person?
Well, look, there's a lot of opportunity out here. It's a huge industry. Ag is the largest industry in the state of Georgia. Some phenomenal technical schools and high school programs that can get you exposure into the industry. There's a lot of high paying jobs. I encourage everybody, anybody that asks, I always encourage them. Yeah, if you think you're interested in ag, go and go hard. Chloe's degree is in hospitality, tourism, and food service management, and it's actually part of the College of Ag at UGA. It is the second fastest growing bachelor's program at the university right now. It is huge.
Really?
It has blown up. Um, Corporate sponsors, people want to give money, people want to get that the students have no trouble whatsoever finding a job. So there's a lot of opportunity that you really don't even think about as ag. The poultry industry is huge right here in Gainesville. Um, Holy cow, to be 21 again, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and you have the world at your fingertips. But it is hard to get into the production side, and that's difficult. I think those are conversations that we have to have on the state level, within our state government, within our state Department of Ag, the federal level. They're going to play a part in it. I look at agriculture as food security is national security, and I don't care if it's a 500-acre farm up in Northeast Georgia, Jaemor Farms, or if it's a 10,000-acre farm in the San Joaquin Valley in California. We got to be able to feed ourselves, and if we don't, somebody else is going to. So to me, that's one of the most important messages that we could tell our kids, whether or not they're going into ag or they're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. We need to know where our food comes from, and we need to produce our food. To me, that's we need more farmers. Absolutely, we need more farmers, but we need more consumers that understand the ag industry also.
Well, in your experience, I know you've done a lot of speaking engagements, and for those that don't know, you're a state legislator. Do you think some of that is trending in the right direction from what you're seeing as you travel through the state?
I think it is. I think that we've got a great ag commissioner in Commissioner Tyler Harper right now. There are three full-time farmers in the state senate, maybe 4 or 5 in the state house. So we get the message out there. It's just it's the cost associated with actually getting into this industry is so high that it's very burdensome on anybody. I mean, I don't care if you're a 24-year-old or if you're a 40-year-old that wants to branch out into it. It's difficult. So we're doing better than a lot of states. We've still got room to grow and expand opportunity for young folks. So I feel good. I feel good about it.
Well, knowing what you know now and what all you've seen and done, and you referenced being to be 21 again, and Chloe's about to graduate. So, what's the single piece of advice you would give 21-year-old Drew or Chloe now that they need to know?
Man, I don't know. Put me on the spot on that one. Nobody's ever really questioned my work ethic. A lot of times I've spun my wheels at things. I think making a plan instead of just going with the flow. But sometimes going with the flow works, especially when you're an entrepreneur. But you got to be willing to pivot when those obstacles come up. So I've tried to be really good at that. It drives my wife crazy. She can't pivot. She's more of a straight line person. I can go around something, but I think that having a plan, a written plan, is probably one of the most important things you can actually do, because it's just a constant reminder.
So, I think we know this answer from your history, but when you graduated high school, is this something that you just felt like you needed to do, or do you think where you are in your life and what you've done with Jaemor, that this was inside of you the whole time? You were destined to get in the ag business and grow this far.
Oh, I do. I think I was destined to do it for sure. But I think that as any, smart, when we're 18, 20 years old, we're the smartest person in the world, right? So you have to go make a few mistakes on your own and go I equate that experience working for Georgia Power for 2.5 years to my college experience. And I knew I wanted to be back. I knew that I ultimately wanted to work for myself, even if that meant 12 or 14 or 16-hour days, that I ultimately wanted to be my own boss and kind of have one of my things, and I hadn't touched on this yet, but I like to have my destiny in my hands. I'm that kind of person. Like, if I'm going to fail miserably at something, hey, I can own it. I can live with it. Or if I'm going to win, I can own that too. I mean, obviously all of it's in God's plan and God's timing, but just being able to accept those wins and losses, that's a big deal.
So, if you could grill a steak over some meathead charcoal and have a cold beer or a glass of wine with anybody out there, maybe a mentor, maybe an idol, anywhere in the world, who would that person be?
Oh man, probably my two granddads, both my Jimmy Echols, who started Jaemor, and then my mom's dad, Herman Pass. He was a plumber. I'd like to spend just a little bit more time with them over a meal, and that is a regret. You get busy, and I spend a lot of time with them, but when they're gone, right? And you don't get that one back. So I'm not that worried about the famous folks. They know where I'm at. They come ask me for a steak dinner. But if I could get one back, I'd love to sit down with them.
Well, I know they'd be proud and what y'all have done with this place. It's a wonderful place that the community enjoys, and I know my family does.
Well, thank you.
But we appreciate you being here today. And why don't you just tell everybody where they can find Jaemor Farms on the social medias and the internet?
Well, we're right here at the 35-mile marker on 365 on the 4-lane, just north of Gainesville. Facebook and Instagram's two of the easiest places to find us. Just look for Jaemor Farms on either one of those. We've got a lot of followers. Try to keep those things up to date with varieties of peaches and different crops that we have coming in and different activities on the farm. And then we've got a website, it's www.jaemorfarms.com. So just go check all that stuff out and come see us.
Everybody go follow Jaemor, and if you're near the state of Georgia, come find them and buy some of this produce and follow Meathead Charcoal. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.